Welcome to another deep dive. We're going on a bit of an adventure today. We'll be exploring the pages of, well, a children's book, actually.
Oh, interesting.
It's called The Adventures of Luna and Leo.
Okay.
Now, you might be thinking, a children's book. But trust me, even the simplest stories can hold some pretty profound insights.
Oh, absolutely. Children's literature is fascinating. It often tackles these complex themes, but packages them in a way that, wow, that speaks to younger minds, you know?
And for us, take a chance to revisit those themes, but with a fresh perspective, maybe uncover something we missed the first time around.
Exactly.
So, let's jump right in. The story takes place in this magical forest. It's where Luna and Leo, our two main characters, start their adventure.
A magical forest. Very classic.
It is. Now, thinking about how much environment can shape a kid's imagination, what are your initial thoughts on the setting?
Well, the forest in this book, it's not just a static background, is it? I mean, new paths pop up, landscapes kind of shift and change, and there are these hidden wonders that emerge as Luna and Leo explore. It's almost like a reflection of how a child's world grows and expands, as they learn.
I see what you mean. It's like the forest itself is almost encouraging a growth mindset, showing kids that if you're willing to kind of venture off the beaten path, there's always something new waiting to be discovered.
Yeah, exactly. And, kids are naturally drawn to that kind of adaptability.
Totally.
That openness to new experiences. And Luna and Leo, they just embody that. They embrace every twist and turn of their journey, every little surprise.
They really do. And speaking of embracing the unknown, there's this mysterious cave that Luna and Leo stumble upon.
Yes.
And it's filled with these glowing crystals. It's magical, but also a bit intimidating at the same time, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. It's that duality, I think, that's so interesting.
Right.
The cave, it represents those challenges that every kid inevitably faces, those moments where they have to step outside their comfort zone, confront their fears. But the author very cleverly wove in those sparkling crystals.
Yeah. It's like a reminder that even in the scariest, darkest places, there can be beauty and wonder if you just have the courage to look for it.
Absolutely. And that's such a powerful message for children, isn't it? To know that facing your fears can lead to incredible discoveries.
For sure. And who better to guide them through that fear than a friendly dragon named Draco?
A dragon. Okay, now that's interesting.
Right. Dragons often symbolize challenges in these kinds of stories, but Draco is quite unique.
So what stands out to you about Draco?
Well, he's not scary at all. He's actually incredibly welcoming. He even gifts Luna and Leo a magical gem. What do you think the author is trying to say with this gesture?
Well, there's a lot to unpack here. I mean, on one hand, Draco completely challenges those preconceived notions kids might have about dragons, right? Like he encourages them to look beyond appearances.
Yeah.
To approach the unknown with curiosity, not just fear.
I like that. It's like a reminder to never judge a book by its cover, even if that cover has scales and breathes fire.
Yeah.
But what about the gem itself? It has to be significant.
Ah, yes. The magical gem. Gifts in stories, they're often very symbolic.
Yeah.
It represents the relationship between the giver and receiver,
So in this case, it could symbolize the bond of friendship that forms between Luna, Leo, and Draco. It's like a physical reminder of their shared experience and the trust they've built.
Precisely. And for young readers, this whole act of gifting, it might even spark a conversation about the value of sharing and how it strengthens connections.
That's a great point. And speaking of sharing, what do Luna and Leo do with this precious gem? They run straight to their friends, tell them all about their adventure, show off their treasure.
And that's where the importance of community comes into play. It's not just about bragging. It's about bringing others into their world of wonder, letting their friends share in their joy.
And wouldn't that be an incredible lesson for a child? Understanding that joy multiplies when it's shared, that including others in your adventures makes everything so much more meaningful.
Absolutely. And it reinforces the idea that every child has something valuable to contribute, a story, a skill, even just their own unique perspective. This idea of community goes beyond just friendship and inclusion.
Oh, how so?
Well, it also really highlights how important different perspectives are. Each kid brings their own unique experiences, their own way of seeing the world to the group.
You're right. And you can see that in all the different adventures Luna, Leo, and their friends go on. They help this lost bunny explore new areas of the forest and even learn from, this wise old owl. Each encounter, each interaction adds another layer to their understanding.
Exactly. It's almost as if the author's subtly suggesting collaboration, showing young readers that they can achieve so much more when they work together, when they value each other's strengths.
Yeah, that's a beautiful message. And it's just woven so seamlessly into the story. It never feels forced or preachy.
Not at all. It's all about showcasing those values, letting children see how kindness, empathy, and cooperation actually play out in the real world.
And I love how through all these adventures, there's this constant thread of wonder and joy. Like whether they're chasing butterflies or just hanging out with Draco, Luna, and Leo, approach everything with this infectious enthusiasm.
Oh, it's totally infectious. And it's a good reminder for us adults, too, to appreciate the simple things, to rediscover that childlike curiosity for the world.
I know. Sometimes I think we forget how much joy there is in just exploring, asking questions, seeing things with fresh eyes. This book is such a great reminder.
It really is. And speaking of seeing things with fresh eyes, let's go back to that magical forest for a second. We talked about how dynamic it is, but have you noticed how it almost seems to react to what Luna and Leo do?
Now that you mention it, I do remember how new paths would appear or like the weather would change, almost as if the forest was part of their journey, part of their growth.
That's exactly it. And this subtle way the forest is personified, it not only adds to the magic and wonder, but it also serves a much deeper purpose, I think.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, think about it from a child's perspective. The world can feel so vast and overwhelming, right? But if you can imagine a world that responds to you, that kind of offers new paths and opportunities as you grow and change, it suddenly feels a lot less scary, more approachable, even exciting.
Right. It takes away that sense of helplessness and replaces it with a sense of agency. Like you have the power to shape your own journey.
Exactly. And that's such a powerful message to give a child, especially in a world where they're constantly being told what to do and how to think.
It encourages them to actively participate in their own lives, embrace the unknown, and trust that the world will meet them halfway.
Absolutely. And that idea is even further emphasized through that recurring image of the setting sun and the promise of a new day. Each day ends with this beautiful sunset, a time for reflection and gratitude.
Yeah.
But it's always followed by a new dawn, a new day filled with anticipation for new adventures.
It's a beautiful way to show the cyclical nature of life, how even though things change, adventures come to an end, there's always something new to look forward to.
And it instills a sense of hope and optimism, which is so important for navigating life's ups and downs, no matter how old you are.
For sure. You know, there's another recurring element in this story that I found really fascinating, and that's Luna and Leo's dreams. They often dream about their adventures, reliving them, and processing the lessons they've learned.
Oh, yes. Those dream sequences are so interesting. They really highlight how important reflection is and the role that dreams play in our emotional and cognitive development. For children, dreams are often a way to process difficult emotions and experiences, but in a safe space.
It's like their subconscious mind is working through all these new experiences, helping them understand the world and prepare for what comes next.
And that connection between dreams and real-life experiences, that's something we see even as adults, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. Dreams can be such a powerful tool for self-discovery, for growth, no matter your age.
Exactly. And as we get closer to the end of the story, Luna and Leo, they discover yet another hidden path. It's like a symbol that their journey of exploration, of learning, it's far from over.
A perfect open ending, wouldn't you say? It invites the reader to keep going on that adventure, to explore their own world with that same sense of wonder and curiosity as Luna and Leo.
It's an invitation to embrace the unknown, to understand that learning is a lifelong process. And it reminds us that just like those new paths appearing in the magical forest, life is full of possibilities just waiting to be discovered.
You know, it's incredible how the adventures of Luna and Leo manages to capture these really fundamental truths about, well, just being human.
I know, right? It's like the story has all these fantastical elements, the setting, the talking animals.
Right.
But at its heart, it's really about those core values, connection, courage, kindness, and that pure joy of discovery.
It really is. And it's a good reminder that those values, they're universal. They transcend age, background, all of that. I think that's one of the things that makes children's literature so powerful.
I agree. It lets us revisit these really essential themes, but through a fresh lens, through the eyes of these characters who are seeing the world with that sense of wonder and possibility.
It's like it gives us permission to tap back into our own inner child, the one who saw magic in every little thing, the one who approached life with this open heart.
Exactly. And that brings me to a question for you. What were some of your favorite stories when you were a kid? The ones that really stuck with you?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What about you? Those stories that really sparked your imagination or maybe taught you something valuable?
Yeah. What are those stories that you can still remember so vividly? And what feelings do they bring up for you now?
I bet if we really think about it, those early stories probably shaped how we see the world in ways we don't even realize. Maybe they even planted the seeds for, well, whatever we're passionate about today.
It's amazing how those early encounters with stories can stay with us,
It's
shape our thoughts, our beliefs, even our actions.
Absolutely. So we encourage you, our listener, to take a moment to revisit those stories from your childhood, the ones that you loved.
You might be surprised by what you discover, what new meanings you find.
You never know. You might even find yourself inspired to start a new adventure of your own. But until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and never lose sight of that magic that's all around us.